So, Bargain Quest is one of those games that a lot of people have been talking about. It got a lot of buzz when it was on Kickstarter, I believe, last year. And I really solidly placed it on my games of interest list at that time. And so when I got the chance to play it a couple of weeks ago, I was really, really excited. And I think when you look at this game, you open the box, the artwork is really fun, and you kind of get the gist of what the game is about. You know, you're playing in this kind of fantasy world, but instead of being a hero, you're on the other side of the table or the other side of the counter, so to speak, running one of those kind of archetypical village shops, village equipment and weaponry shops. And, so it's a familiar territory in terms of fantasy, but then you're kind of in on this sort of fun joke that you're actually playing a shopkeep and, maybe not the most scrupulous shopkeep. You're not really that interested in the heroes themselves. You just want to make sure that you can sell your equipment to them. Although that being said, you are somewhat interested in how they fare because that's the main way you get points in the game. Basically, you're equipping these heroes for a profit, ideally, and then they're going to battle a series of monsters that are threatening the village. And if they can defend against the monster, you score 1 point. If they can inflict damage on the monster, you gain 2 points. So you do actually want to make sure these people are well equipped. And so the premise of the game is very fun. There's card drafting between the players to select the best equipment, which is great. I love card drafting. Then there's kind of this like blind bid where you try to put your most desirable item in the window of your shop, and then you all kind of reveal at the same time, which adds a nice element of drama to the game. And then you're kind of seeing which hero you end up attracting to their shop. Was it the one you wanted? Does somebody else swoop in there ahead of you and grab the one you had in mind? And then finally, can your hero plus the equipment you've sold them defeat the monster or inflict enough damage to generate points for you? So it's a really fun and straightforward game to play in that sense. But this is where some of the sheen and the gloss of the game started to rub off. What I started to feel in the game that I played, and keep in mind I've only played one game of Bargain Quest with 5 players, and what I started to feel was that this got a bit repetitive. It felt like we were doing this, relatively simple kind of actions, and there wasn't enough meat behind that to make the game feel as rewarding as I would have liked it to be. Beyond that, if your hero goes and fights a monster and, even if they kill that monster, you don't get any extra points, which is really weird for people who are used to sort of open world games and, fantasy games, because we all know that typically if you kill a monster, you get like XP or other rewards or treasure. And it would have been a really nice touch in this game if you got slightly more something different if you actually dealt the death blow to one of these monsters attacking the village. So overall, I felt that this game, it looks great. It really promises, kind of a fun experience when you start playing it. But ultimately, it doesn't seem to quite match the expectations that it sets for itself in terms of fun and depth of play. And, maybe this is something that the expansion rectifies. I have no idea about how the expansion plays. But, this could be something that the expansion addresses. And I'd be happy to maybe try that again sometime. And ultimately, this isn't a bad game, and I would certainly play it again in the right environment. If somebody had it and I was at a game night or something, people said, "Oh, hey, let's play this really quick." I'd be very happy to play it. So it was a very acceptable and decent game. I just think it was a shame it didn't quite deliver to the high expectations that I had in mind and that I felt the game itself sets. And ultimately, the 5 of us kind of walked away from this game feeling, hey, that was okay. But, maybe a little bit underwhelming. And I think that really summarizes my feeling of this game perfectly. So that's my first impressions of Bargain Quest. By all means, if you have any questions, drop them here in the comments, or feel free to hit me up on Twitter at Game Minimalist. In the meantime, enjoy your gaming.